Good morning, everyone, and hello. I'm Christophe Choo from Coldwell Banker Real Estate here in beautiful Beverly Hills, California. And we're trying something new today. We're live streaming across many different platforms, a live Q&A session all about real estate. So I'm happy you're able to join us today, and you can learn a little bit more about the real estate world here in Los Angeles, Beverly Hills, and the West Side. And just for those of you who have not met me before or don't know me, I've been selling real estate now for 28 years. Hard to believe. I was 18 when I first started. I was born and raised in LA, and really all I know is real estate. Aside from being a fashion model when I was young and working valet parking cars, working at the Hollywood Bowl, working as a cashier at a restaurant, all I knew after that was real estate. And so I've been doing that for 28 years. And although today my business has grown dramatically and I concentrate primarily on luxury real estate here on the west side of LA, I do it also internationally. And it's a great business. I love it. And for those of you that don't know, my first sale was a $43,000 condo. So that was my first sale. So I didn't start off selling luxury properties. I started off selling whatever I could sell. And even to this day, we don't focus just on luxury. We focus on anyone we can help. If someone has a need to sell real estate, I get calls sometimes from past clients or friends or agents around the world, and they say, oh, we want to sell our $500,000 condo or $600,000 house. Will you handle that? And of course we do. We just recently sold a condo for $570,000, one for $870,000, a house for $640,000. We just listed one for $1.2 million, a great buy here in the Beverly Hills post office area. So I just wanted you to know that. Hey, Alex, how are you? Thanks for joining. I appreciate that. Janet Charlton, oh my gosh, what a treat and pleasure to have you on the call or on the live video. And hi, Christopher, how are you? So tell us, guys, what are some of the questions you guys have about real estate? And yes, Dezin Dunya, I do and can sell houses around the world. I am not licensed outside of the state of California. However, on the high-end luxury side particularly, I have a lot of friends and clients, particularly in the high-end, that when they own a luxury home in Los Angeles, quite often they'll own multiple homes around the world. They may have a place in LA, apartment in New York, place in Paris, London, Hong Kong, south of France, Italy. So yes, I do help them. I usually co-broker with another broker in that specific area because I may not know the area so well, but I do go and help my clients and advise them on buying real estate around the world. So yes, that's actually one of my favorite things to do, traveling the world and looking at and helping clients buy luxury properties in different countries. So that's really a fun thing. Hi, Shirley, how are you? Thank you for always making lovely comments on my Facebook. I really do appreciate that. And I thank you for all of that. So one question that came up this week, and that's part of why I decided to do this live video, is I get a lot of questions about real estate, particularly on my YouTube channel. So one question that came up this week, which I thought was quite interesting, someone asked if the property taxes are more expensive or lower for a new construction home. So I don't know what it's like across the US, but here in Los Angeles, actually property taxes are regulated by the Los Angeles County Tax Assessor. So in the county of Los Angeles, which just imagine a circle, that's the county of LA, and within the county is Santa Monica City, Beverly Hills, and then the city of Los Angeles. So in the Los Angeles County area, property taxes are approximately 1.25% of the purchase price based on when you purchase the home or when it's reassessed. The LA County tax collector can reassess the property value at any time, increase the value, decrease the value, which is less likely. When we had a downturn in the market 10 years ago, some people did apply for property tax reassessments, but our market didn't go down that much. It went down maybe 15, 20%, as opposed to other parts of the country or LA that went down more. So again, property taxes start off based on the purchase price, approximately 1.25%, and that's whether it's a house, a condo, an apartment building, a commercial property, it's basically all the same. And again, that usually stays about the same, but it can be assessed at any time. For example, our current home, which we bought 16 years ago, we've been assessed probably 2 or 3 times in the last 16 years, and our property taxes have basically doubled since we first purchased it. So again, the tax assessor can do what they want and raise it when they want. So that's that. So what are some real estate questions you guys have? I'm trying to see here on the list and see what questions people may have. Let's take a look here. Hey Marty, how are you? And Shirley, welcome. Thanks for joining. Zarifa, thank you as well. Um, Villa and Belek. Where's Belek? I don't know where Belek is. Denise, tell me, where is Belek? So what are some other questions about real estate? One of the common questions I get, how's the market? Well, it really depends if you're buying, selling, leasing, or buying, selling, leasing. Yeah, I guess those are the three main things. And it depends on where you're buying. Some segments of our market have really skyrocketed in terms of price and with nearly no rhyme or reason. Other segments of the market have not been so high in appreciation. For example, the condo market on the west side of Los Angeles, although it has gone up the last 5 or 6 years, has only gone up anywhere from 10 to maybe 15, 20%. We had a lot of new construction condos that came on the market in the last 5, 6 years. So because of the supply, meaning a lot of supply and not as much demand, the prices for condos have not risen that dramatically. Now, as where had you purchased a home in the last 5 to 10 years, you're looking at maybe double to even potentially triple the investment of that particular property depending on the area. And one of the key things I always mention to buyers, buy the best location you can afford. Always buy the smallest house on the best street. You're never going to go wrong with that. Particularly in LA with all the construction going on, you have a big opportunity to buy a tear down and build a new house and get a good investment. Sean, so your question is, when do you think the market will flatten? That's a good question, and no one really has a crystal ball as to the answer to that question. And there's absolutely no sign whatsoever of any changes in our marketplace. A lot of buyers a year and a half ago started to worry interest rates were going to start coming up. They did go up this year for the first time in a year. I think 2016 they did not go up at all. But in our market, particularly, I don't know about the rest of the country, we're primarily a cash-driven market, so interest rates don't really affect our buyers. So we don't see any signs of the market flattening anytime soon. As a matter of fact, our recent statistics, which I did a video about a few weeks ago, in the $5 million plus range so far this year, the market is up 21% number of sales. It's been 382 sales over 5 million. 10 million plus, the market is up 30% in the number of sales. We have 116 closed sales over 10 million. In the 20 million plus market, we're up 240%, which is amazing. 36 sales over 20 million so far this year, incredible. And in the $30 million plus sales, we're up 425%, so 4 times more than last year, with 17 sales so far this year over 30 million versus 4 in 2016. And in the $40 million range, there have been 7 sold this year versus 6 at the same time last year. So we don't see any flattening of the market soon, and every price range over 5 million is up, 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 as well as other price ranges. For example, I just sold another condo representing a buyer, and we've been looking for about 8 months, and virtually every single condo we looked at between 800,000 and 1.2 million had multiple offers on it the first couple of days. So interesting. So yeah, we don't see any point of our market flattening anytime soon. Hi, Lubinda. Let's see. Ludubina. Hi there. You're a brand new agent in real estate. Any advice? You're going to have to work hard. You need to spend 12 to 14 hours a day learning your craft. You need to see as many homes in the market as you can all the time. Still to this day, 28 years later, every Tuesday I look at properties for 3 hours. So from 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. I'm previewing as many properties as I can. Properties for buyers I'm looking for right now, all the expensive homes in my neighborhood and marketplace, because when a seller calls me to sell their home, if I've seen everything out there, I can help them make an accurate decision on what to list their home for. And if I've seen all the inventory of what's for sale, and a buyer happens to call me tomorrow and says, I'm looking for a $10 million house with XYZ, usually I know every house, and I can say, you know what, I've got the perfect home for you. So my advice is make a lot of calls, knock on doors, preview all the inventory, and spend your evening between 8 o'clock and midnight learning about your business, meaning learning about social media, how to market yourself. That's important. So focus on the inventory, focus on your own personal learning, and focus on getting yourself out there. So you need to probably spend 3 hours a day calling clients, new clients, people you meet to get business. And that's what I did the first 16 years of my business. I was 18, 19 years old. I didn't know anybody my age who was selling houses or buying houses. So I literally started calling expired listings and for sale by owners. And I did that for 3 hours a day for 16 years. And that built the core of my business. And many of my past clients today have 22, 24, 25 years or 5, 6, 7 time return clients from prospecting way back in the late 80s and early 90s. So prospecting is the key thing. Hey, Matthew, how are you? Renee Sanchez, God, what are my common listing objections? Will you take a lower commission? Another broker told us a much higher price. Oh, will you do it for 90 days? So I say those are the 3 common objections. And I'd say that has not changed in 28 years. Hi, Colleen. How are you? For those of you who don't know Colleen Ross, she's an amazing painter and artist. She's here live on the feed right now. So follow her on Facebook. She's tremendous and does amazing paintings. So Colleen Ross, Colleen Ross. Check her out on Facebook. She's a truly very talented and gifted artist. So follow her. Shirley's, Glendale, is that a good area? That's a good question. Glendale has really changed dramatically, and Glendale is probably one of the hottest markets in the LA area. A lot of new condo construction, apartment construction, and ever since the Americana was built, Glendale has really come up. It was a sleepy town for many years, but Glendale is a very good and popular area. People, though, who live in Glendale like to live in Glendale, eat in Glendale, shop in Glendale. It's a very kind of neighborhood-specific kind of area. And also, people are now living in Glendale that commute to downtown. So yeah, I think Glendale is a really great area. Bonjour, Eric Chevalier. How are you? Hello to Lorna. Hope everything's good for you in Palm Desert. Hey there, Andy. Zarifa, my pleasure. And Yesenia, my friend Yesenia. How are you? You're welcome, Renee. I hope I answered your question. And Nick, wow, my friend Nick from Florida is on. I love that. So let's see, we've been going on for about 12 minutes so far. What other questions you guys have about real estate? Could be anything to do with real estate, being an agent, buying a home, selling a home, taxes. Thank you, Raja. I appreciate that. For those of you that are with Coldwell Banker, I look forward to seeing you all at the Coldwell Banker International Gen Blue Conference coming up in, I believe it's in October in Las Vegas. I think it's the 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th. So I'm looking forward to that. That's our annual international conference. And this year we're going to have about 5,000 agents from around the world. And often people say, why do you go to all these conferences? Well, I go for the learning, number one. I go to network and learning, networking, and sharing. I'm with the top agents from around the world, and relationships are so important. Relationships with your clients, relationships with your other agents. I get a lot of business from referrals from other agents because they know me, they trust me, they respect me, and they like me, and people want to do business with people that fit into that category. So our international conference is great. We have all of the broker owners and franchisee owners from around the world, from China, India, France, Spain, Italy, England, South America, Turkey, Canada, Mexico. So I'll be seeing all of my international friends in Las Vegas in October, which is one of my favorite events of the year, and truly the best international networking of any conference I go to. So I look forward to seeing many of you there at the conference in October. Monica, go CB. Oh, great. How do you become a listing agent like me? Good question. The top agents and the most successful agents are primarily listing agents. So the last 28 years, I would say the top agents, 60 to 80% of their business is primarily listings. We have a contract with the seller. We can control the marketing and get the property sold, whereas with buyers, it's a little bit more challenging. So to be a great listing agent, you have to prospect for listings. So you need to contact expired listings, for sale by owners, Zillow Make Me Moves. Anybody who's thinking of selling, that's who you have to contact. Buyers are also very important. I work with a lot of buyers, primarily I'd say all kind of buyers. We sold a buyer place for $870 a couple of weeks ago, and I have people that on my team that work with me to do that. But I work with a lot of international buyers, so and they typically buy more expensive properties, and I really do enjoy working with buyers because I get a chance to see a lot of the properties. And surprisingly, a little off-subject topic, about 32% of all the homes over 20 million in our market sell without going on the MLS. So that's part of the importance of, if you're a buyer and you want to find a house, particularly the higher in you go, the less of these properties are on the market, because owners are very private. They don't want people to know their business. So if you're really, like me, connected with the top brokers in the city, which I have been for 28 years, I know about every pocket listing, everything coming down the market in the next 6 months, year or two, even I'm working even with projects that are in the construction phases of getting permits and plans that are going to be done and built in 2, 3, 4 years. So it's important if you're a buyer looking to buy particularly high-end that you align yourself with a top agent in your market, like me, that knows the inventory, knows the agents, so that they can find you some off-market deals. And again, 32%, so 1 out of 3 homes over 20 million is being sold off-market. And if you don't have an agent that's tied into that, you're not going to have access to those opportunities. Or as one of my friends said, propertunities. I like that, right? It's not an opportunity, it's a propertunity. Anyways, hey Sharam, how are you? You're going to be in LA next month, Raja. Wonderful. I would hopefully like to meet you as well. To renovate or not to renovate? Oh, that's a really good question, Shirley. So the National Association of Realtors, in conjunction with the U.S. Remodeling Board, or I forget what the name of it is, does an annual survey, which says cost versus return. And it's a very good report. And I do post that report when it comes out every year. I don't know what time. I think it's first quarter of the year. And basically it's a summary of all of the different remodeling things you can do, remodeling a kitchen, a bathroom, adding square footage. It has like 40 different categories and the approximate cost. And then by different zones, I think it's a western zone of the United States, southern zone, east coast. I think it's in 4 different zones. It tells you the return on investment. And frankly speaking, most of those very rarely do get more than like a 92% return on your investment. So as an example, you spend $100,000 on remodeling, you may only get $92,000 back. So I don't generally recommend remodeling. It's very specific to the property in the area and the kind of buyers. I do strongly recommend many times to stage a home and some light remodeling. Depends on the house, but some houses I have the sellers redo all the floors, repaint the whole house, stage it. So every seller is different. Some sellers don't want to spend the money up front to do that, and sometimes you can spend 50 and get 100,000 back depending on the property in terms of light remodeling. But generally I don't suggest major remodeling to sell, because you could spend 100,000 on a gorgeous new kitchen and then the buyer comes in and they want a modern kitchen. So but I think certain things are important, and just call a great local agent that's top in their field and they can give you some advice specifically on what you should remodel or not in your specific home. Let's see, what other questions do we have here? Let's look on this list here. Are you guys enjoying this live video session? Hopefully this is streaming across the different Facebook platforms, and you're all able to get your questions. I know this is going across many of my Facebook pages, so I'm not quite sure if in fact this is going on all the pages, and if you can actually ask me questions from my various pages aside from my my main personal page here. So I'll figure that out when we're done. So let's see what else here. Hi Kathy, how are you? Welcome to the call. Oh, I'm glad you like it, Renee. Let's see, Zarifa, advice on property management. You started your own company. Well, that's interesting. So I do own apartment buildings and rentals. I did manage them myself for a long time. I no longer do that. It was way too stressful. Managing an apartment building, particularly in Los Angeles with rent control, to me was more stress than it was worth. So I firmly believe if you own investment properties, hire a professional property manager like you, probably Zarifa, if that's what you're doing. It freed up my life, freed up my time. I'm more than happy to pay the percentage to the property management company. They handle everything. I get a wire transfer once a month. I get a spreadsheet with all of the income and expenses. So property management, I think, is a very, very important thing, and it's not something I like to do, so I don't do it. And that's one advice. In real estate, do what you love. If you like a certain kind of neighborhood or a certain kind of architecture or a certain kind of property, pursue that and follow that, because when you do what you love, the best things come to you. So, hey Darren, how are things in Silicon Valley? Are you still crazy market? Oh, Kathy, how do you get in touch with international buyers? That's a really good question. Most of my international buyers come from my personal relationships and friendships. We do travel a lot. I do speak several languages, and we travel usually once a year to Asia, once a year to Europe, and other parts of the US. So we meet a lot of people in our travels that end up buying real estate in Los Angeles, or we meet friends at events around the world that end up referring me to their friends and family looking to buy in Los Angeles. So I would say it's through my travels and then through my personal sphere of influence, And then lastly, I would say through my agent referral network. I built a very large referral network, and so many agents around the world, and I've developed those relationships over a long time. So those agents from around the world do refer me clients from around the world. So I would say that's the best way to get international clients. I don't believe in advertising in papers, and advertising in print doesn't really work anymore, sorry to say. It's all about relationships and then online presence. Many of my clients find me on YouTube or Google, just doing Google searches in Beverly Hills or Bel Air or LA, and on YouTube they see my videos. I do a lot of videos about the neighborhood, so they kind of start off with seeing those videos, they follow me, and then 6 months, a year later, 2 years later, when they're ready, they call me, and that's how international buyers follow me. So those are my suggested areas. Hi, Charles, how are you? Belgium, what a beautiful country. Gosh, we love that country, and thank you for joining us today. Hey there, Bob, how are you? Oh, thank you, Bob, for recommending my YouTube channel. And actually, later on, I'm going to post 2 links here. I'll post a link to my YouTube channel, and I'll also post a link to my international real estate networking page on Facebook. I think about 1,300 agents from around the world on my Christophe Choo International Real Estate Network. So it's a great place to share referrals, to get to know each other, and to send each other referrals. So, Renee, would you reduce your commission for family? Generally, I do not reduce commissions. Of course, every situation is specific. That's something you have to make that own internal decision with yourself and your family, and decide what you want to do. Thanks, Yesenia. I always try to provide the best information I can. A knowledgeable client is an informed client that makes the right decision. And as part of my education of my sellers and buyers, I really do spend a lot of time trying to educate them so that they can make an informed decision on buying or selling. I think that's really important, because sometimes as an agent we forget. I do this every day, 24/7, so it's ingrained in my life for 28 years, so I know it all inside and out. But you have to realize buyers and sellers, they may call you, they may never have sold a home, or they may have sold a home 10 years ago, or 15 years ago, or 30 years ago, or they may never have bought, or they may have bought a house 10 or 15 years ago. Things change all the time in real estate. So my job is to inform them, educate them, and help them walk through the process. And it's a consulting. I'm really a consultant, like an attorney or a doctor. I'm really here to help consult with the client, help educate them to make the best decision for themselves and or their family and friends. So, okay, it's almost 10:30. I think we're going to stop shortly. So if anyone else has any other information, I'm going to I keep cutting out, Kathy? You're kidding. That's strange. Maybe it's your internet connection, because so far you're the only one that's mentioned it's been cutting out. So let's see what other questions we have. Gosh, the questions keep coming in. Thank you, Christian. I'm glad you like the information we're sharing. One of the common questions I get, is there ever a better time to sell a house? So it is a good question. Yes, there are certain cycles of selling. I would say typically in the LA market, July 4th through about September, things slow down a little bit, because a lot of the locals are gone for their summer holidays. Particularly the wealthy families or wealthy people, they go away to Europe or wherever they go for 3 weeks, 4 weeks for their summer vacations. So the local buyers aren't so active in the marketplace. And most of them that are changing houses typically buy April, May, June, get in the house before July, they can do their renovations, and then they go on their holidays, and they can come back and be ready for the school season, end of August, beginning of September. So it slows down then, and I would say typically Thanksgiving weekend through about the second week of January, things tend to slow down a little bit. However, the opposite end of that spectrum is, that's about the local buyers. A lot of foreign buyers come in during that time. So June, July, August, a lot of foreign buyers come here for holidays and vacations and buy properties here in Los Angeles or rent. And then secondly, in Thanksgiving, Christmas time, a lot of foreign buyers come as well to go on vacation and also to buy homes here in Los Angeles at that time. So hope that answered your question. Actually, I am on Zillow, Kathy. I don't advertise on Zillow. I don't pay for zip codes. I did that years ago. I didn't see a lot of value to it for myself. And so I am on Zillow. I'm a premier agent on Zillow, but that's not really a big source of leads for us in our marketplace. So yes, I'm on Zillow, but not something that really is top on our list, although I know it works very, very well in other marketplaces. So anyways, I thank you all for joining. My phone keeps ringing, so I forgot to shut that off before starting. So I better get back to business. Hope you enjoyed this little live chat today. I'm going to try to do this every Monday. And so if you guys have any topics you want me to talk about next time, let me know. And I'll try to cover that on our next call, hopefully next Monday at 10 a.m. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all real soon. Goodbye from Real Estate in Beverly Hills.